We are back, and this is the episode that follows week 10 of the fantasy baseball season.
What the hell is he wearing? What is that?
Seriously, are we gonna keep doing this? I mean, I'm not sure the podcast demographic really cares what I'm wearing. It's not like this is like the Met Gala or the Oscars or something. I mean, I'll go with it, but we got to drop this little bit. We've run this one into the ground, guys. Anyway, this is what I'm wearing, right? Basically got the boys of our adult Cardinals lifetime. Not going to dwell on it. You guys know the story there. And let's go straight to the game recaps. We have a lot to cover this week. And the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about Red Wine Redbirds and Team TNT. Two huge victories.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
We had, let's just see here, Team TNT beat Honey Nut Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios finally got into the top 3 in the power rankings last week.
I'm iced out, ooh, looking like a star. Her name is Jenny, ooh, bitch don't have no panties. Ooh, I'm Steph.
And then we had Raleigh Fingers, your sister, lose to Red Wine Redbirds. Now that was clearly a battle for second place. Well, as long as hashtag Lola's Dragons is putting up the massive points, that was second place. And Raleigh Fingers, your sister, of all the games to shit the bed, you didn't even score 400 points. You were a member of the 300 point club. Do you know what trash that is? The 300 point club? I mean, let's just see here. I'm going to go down the list and I'm going to tell you who your peer group was in that club 300. Oh, that's kind of funny. Honey Nut Cheerios. That's pretty funny. Team J to the P, Arizona Diablos Blancos, Matt's Marauders, Brick City Mules, who barely made it. That's your peer group. You guys want top billing, both of you. Honey Nut Cheerios and Raleigh Fingers, your sister. You guys have petitioned to tell me you're the number 1 team. Team 300. Team 300 doesn't even belong in the top. Anyway, too long. Moving on. So Honey Nut Cheerios and Raleigh Fingers, your sister, yeah, with their loss, we were able to run around the league and ask a couple of the different owners, now that these two teams have lost after being elevated in the rankings, what do you think about your opponent here? What do you think about Honey Nut Cheerios?
Overrated. Pretty boy. A bitch.
Whew, strong words. And we also had the same question we asked about, what do y'all think about Raleigh Fingers, your sister?
Overrated. Pretty boy. A bitch.
Is that the same tape? Oh, they just gave the same answers. They had the same opinion about both teams. Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, what else we got? We got Brick City Mules. We're going to go from this down to Brick City Mules.
Yeah, I'd like to bet $100.
You want to pick a team?
No, just take it.
Yeah, pretty much every week, that's kind of the story. Maybe we'll just go with that clip week after week as long as Brick City Mules is sitting down there and not moving around and doing stuff with their team. We had Hit Pitches Get Bitches. Big win over Bat Flippin' Boys. Those two were sort of sitting right there, right outside the top 5. And Hit Pitches Get Bitches just schooled them this week.
Whatever game you're playing, it won't work. You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
So Hit Pitches Get Bitches was kind of interesting because last week, remember, they scored 542 points and they lost. 542 points and they lost. This week they said, no mas, I'm not bringing 542. That's not enough to win when you're playing those guys over in the Eastern Division, because we know the Eastern Division seems to have the better teams this year. So if you're going to play the Eastern Division, you got to bring your A game. So look what she did. Not 542, 543. And that was enough for a win. But we're going to have to address this East Division, West Division rivalry here, because I'm looking at the standings, the head-to-head stuff going on these last few weeks, and Eastern Division looks tough. So I'm thinking, yeah, Red Wine Redbirds, Honey Nut Cheerios, you guys have some good standings over there, but I'm thinking you're beating up on some pretty weak teams in your division. And we'll see how it plays out, but it looks like the Eastern Division is the dominant division this year. So right now, in week 10, after week 10, I am going on record and stating the champion of the league this season is going to come from the Eastern Division. So that's all I can say at this point. But the champion of the league is coming from the Eastern Division. I'm betting the podcast on it. Hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons won, of course, extending their win streak to 4 games.
No competition, these bitches fail, ho. Yeah, glow. Curbing my shit in layers, ho. Yeah, glow.
Yeah, they beat a decent Krusty team, Krusty Brand Baseball, but just nobody's beating hashtag these days. We had Arizona Diablos Blancos, a team that is, I don't know. Anyway, game film. But in this game film, he played Team J to the P, who's not been really strong these last many weeks. But listen to the end. Team J to the P, man, he gets some, let's just say he gets a little aggressive with the words.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! God damn it, trying to disrespect niggas over here. Hell yeah! Bust his ass!
All right, now we got to address this Arizona Diablos Blancos thing, because this league is clearly a better league when there's a good Arizona Diablos Blancos team. And I haven't looked into it. I don't know what's going on with the team. Was it a bad draft? Is it bad season management? Maybe it's just Garrett Cole. Maybe there's just injuries plaguing this team.
I feel less of a man.
Yeah.
You can just start off with that.
Yeah.
Trying to get away.
Yeah.
Like, that comes with it.
Yes.
As I said, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Those words.
Yeah.
Only one.
Yeah.
I'm so this and I'm so that. But then
Yeah, but it's been a rough one. It's been a rough one for ADB. Get your stuff back together, because we like a good ADB in this league. What else we got? We have Breaking Brad and Grip It and Rip It. Now these two teams are very similar, but on opposite divisions, right? So let's see who takes this one.
Javier Rodriguez in the points once again. Seth Rugi launching himself into the stratosphere at the start of this one, trying to maintain his height, helps him cut down the space, but turns back on himself, Javier, and he's got away from him, but has he made a significant stride? Turns back on himself again, and he might just get away with this. Javier Rodriguez on!
Yeah, Grip It and Rip It was just too much this week for Breaking Brad. For whatever reason, interesting outcome there. Juno Eskimos is back. Juno Eskimos has returned to the win column. They are doing pretty well again, and hopefully that continues. They beat Brick City.
The sound of your piss hitting the urinal? It sounds feminine. If we were in the wild, I would attack you. Even if you weren't in my food chain, I would go out of my way to attack you. If I were a lion and you were a tuna, I would swim out in the middle of the ocean and freaking eat you. And then I'd bang your tuna girlfriend.
Okay, so Juno, I don't think you need to be that aggressive with Brick City Mules. I don't think any of that was deserved. I would take it down many notches. That actually sounded kind of mean. Don't know what to say. I just want to say to Brick City Mules, don't let that ruin your day. Don't let Juno Eskimos or anybody else ruin your day. So in our final game, we have ALD3 Sour Grapes has finally, I don't know what's going on, but the tide has turned for them. They, I think, have 2 wins in a row, I believe, or something like that. They are looking good. They're not looking like the dominant teams that might need to win the championship, but they are looking good, and I would be afraid of playing ALD3 Sour Grapes right now. And as Matt's Marauders found out.
Some say you will love me one day, and I will wait to get your loving one day.
All right, with that, we've got our our entrance to Club 500. This was a big, big club this week. We had 5 teams entering the Club 500, and we had a first-timer as well. And as you can see, the Club 500, 500 Club, whatever you want to call it, is getting a lot more fun and festive, right? People are starting to like figure out what this club's all about. They're seeing friends there again and again. We've got multiple time 500 Club participants. ALD3 Sour Grapes was our only new entrant this week. And yeah, people are just feeling comfortable with the club these days. They're not the new kid on the block as they walk in that door. Speaking of not new kids on the block, hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons continues to make it look easy. Just walking through the league, just walking through week after week after week, scoring whatever frickin' points they need to. It is absolutely insane what they are doing. And this week was no different. Another 500 Club point, issue. And what's most impressive is they are now our first team to join the 5,000 Club. Now, 500 Club, you know what that is, but the 5,000 Club.
Welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out. The fight is over. Fourth rule, only 2 guys to a fight.
5,000 Club is when a team scores across the course of a season 5,000 points. They're our first ones there. Think about that. 10 weeks, 5,000 points. That's an average of over 500 points a week. So anyway, good job, hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. Anyway, that's it for the game recaps, and we're going to move on now. We've got some numbers.
Look at this graph.
Okay, now I want to go into the numbers. And I know this is the boring part of the podcast for so many of you, but hopefully there's a little tidbit of something interesting in this section, and I'll try and get through it fast. Most of what I'm going to show is something that you're going to want to pause and go back and look at, or not. But what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the month of May, and we're going to take stock at what happened in May. Now, we just entered June. This past week was the end of our May month, and I just thought it'd be interesting to see how did things happen in May. Now, I'm not talking about the fantasy teams. I'm not talking about our teams and the standings and that stuff. I'm talking about the actual players themselves. So what I did is I went back and I looked at the May stats, and I'm going to show you screenshots from our league of all of the fantasy points, the top 10 of each position for the month of May. Now, before I get there, I want to show you this. So this screen right here, this table basically shows you by team the number of ranked players, and I'll get to that in a second, number of ranked players by team. So when I say by ranked players, what do I mean? Well, I'm going to show you in a second. Well, here, let me just show you. So here's a chart of basically all of our 16 teams and a listing of how many players you had in the top 10 batters, top 10 starting positioners, top 10 relief pitchers, and then I break it down to just the top 5 for the specific position players because, we have 16 teams and top 10 is less meaningful than top 5. So I'm going to go back to this, and if you look here, there's some surprises here. Look at this. So anyway, the red and the blue. Red teams are on fire. They've got a lot of ranked players. The darker the red, the more the ranked players they have. Blue to gray gets weak, right? It gets weaker and weaker. They don't have a lot of ranked players that didn't make the top 10 or the top 5. So look at this. Probably the biggest surprise to me was ALD3 Sour Grapes. you know, they've struggled with the win-loss stuff going on. They've gotten some bonus wins, and they're holding in there, and they're clearly a decent team. They have 6 of the top players in the month of May. Can that hold on? Hit pitches, get bitches, same thing. Both of these teams are up-and-comers. They really started to show that they weren't the April the dogs of April. So yeah, they got 6 of the top players in May. And then you get down there, Lola Spirited Dragons, doesn't surprise us. Breaking Brad surprised me a bit. Juneau Eskimos surprised me because they struggled recently. And Red Wine Redbirds, that's not a surprise either. You got a bunch there in the middle. You know, so it looks like the average is around 3 or 4 players. So you got a lot of there in the average. I was a little surprised to see how few Raleigh Fingers Your Sister has, just because they've been so good. Anyway, you get the point. Arizona Diablos Blancos, obviously a disappointment down there. Hopefully that number comes up. Brick City Mules, Krusty Brand Baseball with big old zeros. Hope those guys turn around. Maybe they're just in cold streaks. Maybe there's injuries. I didn't go into the details. But yeah, anyway, so let's go back and look at the details here of where these players came from. And I don't need to go through all the data here, but you can see, yeah, I mean, I'll just pause here with a second and let you look at your teams and see where you're excelling. The other thing that maybe this is useful for is maybe to let you see where teams have a surplus. I mean, Breaking Brad has 2 of the top 10 batters. So does Lawless Spirited Dragons and Hit Pitches Get Bitches. Maybe they got a surplus there they can trade away. I thought Red Wine Redbirds has 2 of the top 5 second basemen in the league. Maybe there's a trade waiting to be made there as well. Bat Flippin' Boys and Grip It and Rip It. Oh, actually, and ALD3 Sour Grapes and Hit Pitches. They have 2 of the top 10 outfielders. So look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the top 10 outfielders are on 4 teams. Pretty crazy, right? So, you know, maybe there's something there. Team J to the P's got 2 of the top relief pitchers. Raleigh Fingers Your Sister has 2 of the top 10 starting pitchers from the month of May, as does ALD3 Sour Grapes. Anyway, you get the point. Just data, kind of fun. You know, it's yeah, you know, and month to month things change, right? Month to month things change. I'm just going to go through it. I'm just going to roll month by month right now. I do want to point out one thing though. So here's batters. I'm not going to dwell on it very long. Kind of interesting there. Here's relief pitchers. I'm doing relief pitchers before starting pitchers because I want to point something out to you. There's your top 10 or so relief pitchers. There's only 2 instances, Ben Brown and Ben Lively, that stupid SP-RP thing. But there's only 2 guys in here who have primarily designation SP. But look at this. All of those red circles, those are people who should be designated as starting pitchers. So you can see, like, that is a lot of points. That is a ton of points for pitchers to have as starting pitchers when they're actually holding up a relief pitcher ranking. So again, I'm not complaining about it. I know there's been a lot of chat about this. Clearly a strategy is to add relief pitchers in the draft, right? That's clearly a strategy that's been exposed this season. Teams like #Lawless Spirited Dragons, Hit Pitches Get Bitches, and some others, I think maybe Sour Grapes, they're utilizing that strategy to a T. I mean, basically they beat you there. They get massive innings and can get you some wins and such. So anyway, kudos to them for seeing that and doing it. You know, let's go through the others. Here's starting pitching, right? And I'm just gonna let them run. Throw some music up there for you.
The first thing I remember is the game that I love. A man on a diamond with a golden glove. Daddy with me in the cheap seats above, saying, boy, keep your eye on the ball. The crack of the bat, the stadium's roar. We were up on our feet for the tie-breaking score. I said, Daddy, I know what you brought me here for. He said, good, I hoped you'd hear the call. Life's a fast ball.
Okay, now let's move on to the everyone versus everyone standings. And this is I don't want to sit on this one for too long, but the everyone versus everyone standings have been updated. Teams in green got a bonus win this week. You can see here, this is the standings after 10 weeks. On the far right, well, we got the plus minus, right? We saw the change from last week. ADB falling 4 spots. Just brutal. And falling below ALD3 Sour Grapes. How the tides have turned. Anyway, we've got other movement around there. We see hit pitches, get bitches just coming on strong. And I should have a clip or something for that, but we'll get to that another day. +3, rising up 3 spots. And congratulations to Grip It and Rip It as well. And Breaking Bad, Sour Grapes. Everybody's moving up there. Team TNT struggled a little bit on the point scoring, but still, I think they got a win this week. I know they did. Anyway, there's that. Far right started to add games behind. Now, remember, this is everyone versus everyone. This is 15 games a week. So those numbers look huge, right? Our Cardinals are, 7 games back right now or something like that? And that looks daunting. This is 15 games a week. So divide by 5, and divide by 15, and that might give you a better of how many perfect weeks you might be behind. So anyway, thought it was kind of interesting. Hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons, clearly our most dominant team. Sitting up there with an almost 90% win rate. Anyway, that's it. Everyone versus everyone standings. That's right, it is power rankings time. And before we get into the power rankings, I just want to go back and I want to make sure I mention this. We're entering the second half of the season. Can you believe it? So if I did my counting right, and it is very, very possible that I did not, we just finished week 10. We have 21 weeks in this season, which means somewhere around Thursday of this week, we tip over into the second half of the season. I know. Right now, your brains are just going boom. But, yeah. So we're going to the second half of the season. Baseball is a game of attrition. It's a game of injuries and lasting. It is a game of streaks and hot and cold. It's a game of some of the rookie pitchers that are out there and getting innings limits, players that are coming back from injuries, particularly pitchers, innings limits. Anything's possible in the second half of the season. This is the middle of the season. This is crap has happened to us, but that's the story, right? We're all trying to make do. We're trying to play for now. We're trying to play for the future. We're all trying to win the championship. So injuries, though, that's my main point. It's a game of attrition. Injuries are everything, and this is the kind of shit that happens all the time.
I am inevitable.
All right, now let's get into our power rankings, and let's get through this so I can bring an end to this podcast. At the bottom, no surprise, Brick City Mules. Sorry, man. I don't know what else to do. You barely made Team 300 this week. I'd love to get you out of there, but also it's supposed to be an avenue to a win next week when you're in the bottom. All right, let's get to number 5. Number 5. And pretty exciting. We see a return of one of our strong teams back into the top 5, Juneau Eskimos. Juneau Eskimos back in the top 5. Congratulations, Juneau. Number 4. Oh, and here's a surprise for you. Holy cow. Well, I'm happy to see this. I am, give my compliments to the folks that are putting the power rankings together and the AI tools. And anyway, so here, a new entrant. I don't think this person has been in the top 5 this year. Hit pitches, get bitches. Hit pitches, get bitches. Finally makes it into the top 5. 2 solid weeks, beating 2 awesome opponents, particularly the one they beat this past week. Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved. Probably a little controversial. Number 3, Raleigh fingers your sister. Nothing controversial about that. But yeah, what happened here? No Honey Nut Cheerios. Could they have actually risen to number 2 after that loss? Or did they fall out of the top 5?
I'm iced out, ooh, looking like a star. Ooh, her name is Jenny, ooh, bitch don't have no panties. Ooh, I'm Steph
Ouch, ouch, ouch. We know they didn't rise. Red Wine Redbirds, of course, and then hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. That rounds out our top 5 for the week. Number 16. And that brings it into this week's episode. Good luck to everybody out there. I've been getting into the habit of even, giving good luck congratulations to my opponents. So I'll do that. And I'll say good luck, Krusty. Yeah, it's going to be a good week. Let's see. Let me see if there's any big games on the docket this week. Oh, yeah. Honey Nut Cheerios is playing hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. Honey Nut, you've got to win. Like, you are just screwing around. And you've been working hard with the trades and all that. I get it. Like, you get an A for effort. But when we look at those everyone versus everyone standings, you're right there with bat flipping boys, hit pitches, get pitches, Juneau Eskimos. You are not the standout team that you appeared to be earlier this season. You need to win some of these games, man. Now I will say you've had a hard schedule. You have played some very, very good teams. So there's that as well. Maybe when you get into your easier schedule, you'll get some separation there. I'm looking here. What else? I'm not seeing. Raleigh fingers your sister and ALD3 Sour Grapes. Wouldn't have thought that to be much of a game a few weeks ago, but now Sour Grapes, man, they're coming on strong. So that would be a really, really nice victory, Sour Grapes, if you can beat Raleigh fingers your sister. Grip it and rip it at Juneau Eskimos. Which one of you are trying to vie for credibility as the moving into that top consideration for the next number 5 or something like that? And I'm not seeing anything else. I'm seeing I think we've got a couple. The rest of the games have some separation among the teams right now, but that just means upsets. So hopefully we get a lot of upsets out there, and that would be fun. So anyway, everybody have a good week, and I'm not going to see you next week. Next week I am out. I promise you there's no podcast next week, so do with that what you will, and we'll get back after that. But I can't do one next week. So good luck, everybody. Have fun, and hey, man, what about our Cardinals? Damn, they're winning. They are winning. They're like the ALD3 Sour Grapes of the real baseball stuff, right? Like, they didn't look so good, and now they look good, and they have quality on their roster. I don't know, man. Don't know what to say. Anyway, see y'all later. Bye.
The first thing I remember is the game that I love. A man on a diamond with a golden glove. Daddy with me in the cheap seats above, saying, boy, keep your eye on the ball. The crack of the bat, the stadium's roar. We were up on our feet for the tie-breaking score. I said, Daddy, I know what you brought me here for. He said, good, I hope you'd hear the call. Life's a fastball, bell tie, coming right down the middle. Don't stand there and let it go by. Swing hard and aim for the stands. My field of dreams was covered in stone, an old gravel parking lot next to our home. Dad on the mound until the daylight was gone, saying, boy, keep your eye on the ball. Cause it's hey batter, swing batter, swing. The world is an infield, always chattering. If you don't concentrate, they'll spoil your timing, and you'll walk away cussing them all. Life's a fastball, bell tie, coming right down the middle. stand there and let it go by. Swing hard and aim for the stands, and thank God for your fans. 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 Dad threw a party when I got the call. All the years on the farm team finally paid off. Now I'm in the big leagues, aiming for the fall. Every summer's a long playoff run. As I walk to the plate, I look in the stands. I see myself and I see my old man. I hear my family and all of my friends cheering, boy, keep your eye on the ball. It's a fastball, belt high, coming right down the middle. I'm gonna mail one to the grandstands. Good glory, this one's for the fans. For the fans. Thank God for the fans. Thank God for the fans. And my old man. My old man. For your fans. Dad threw a party when I got the call. All the years on the farm team finally paid off. Now I'm in the big leagues, aiming for the fall. Every summer's a long playoff run. As I walk to the plate, I look in the stands. I see myself and I see my old man. I hear my family and all of my friends cheering, boy, keep your eye on the ball. It's a fastball, belt high, coming right down the middle. I'm gonna mail one to the grandstands. Good glory, this one's for the fans. For the fans. Thank God for the fans. Thank God for the fans. And my old man. My old man.
And final game of the series by a score of 3-1. The jubilant Cardinals mobbed Ted Wilkes. This victory brought them the World Series title, 4-2 in the